Alright, good morning everybody. It's your boy Akeem and welcome to today's vlog. Here to give you some last minute tips for week 3 of the 2015 fantasy football season. Now we have some question marks, a couple players on each position this week. Starting with the quarterbacks, Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons. I have received a couple of questions regarding him. Some people are concerned because they are playing against a Dallas defense who's been playing well against the quarterbacks in fantasy play this season. Now with the loss of Tevin Coleman, that actually grew some concerns because Coleman was actually starting to sprout up to become a good rookie running back, but he is out with a rib injury, and I think they're going to have to depend more on Matt Ryan this week. Now for Dallas, they're actually going to have to play without their quarterback, Tony Romo, who will be out for a while, and I think this could be a good advantage for Matt Ryan. I think you should go right ahead and start Matt Ryan this week. Another quarterback that I've actually been raising a lot of great hype is quarterback Carson Palmer of the Arizona Cardinals. He's having a great comeback year. This week he's going to be playing against my San Francisco 49ers, who got torched last week against Pittsburgh. Go right ahead and start Carson Palmer and my man Larry Fitz. And lastly, a player that I think is going to have a good matchup is against the Chicago Bears, and that is Russell Wilson. I think he's going to be a good player for you guys to start this week. Headed over to the running back position, and just speaking of the Chicago Bears, let's look at Marshawn Lynch. He's having a little bit of a bad year, kind of start off a little bit of a slow start, but I think he's going to sprout up this week as well. I think he's going to have a great week against that Bears defense. And speaking of defense, the Seattle defense, with the return of Cam Chancellor, who will start this week for the Seattle defense. He's actually ended his holdout with his contract issues, but with his as a key addition in that secondary and the quarterback of that defense, I think this is going to be a great matchup and a great hyped matchup against the Chicago Bears offense led by quarterback Jimmy Clausen. Jay Cutler is out, and then Jimmy Clausen is going to have to replace him, and this is just a gimme game for the Seattle defense. That is a must start this week. Hey, I'm sticking off with the running backs. Just talked about Chicago Bear. Now I need to talk about running back Matt Forte. He is the key weapon offensively, and I did get a couple questions regarding him. I think you should go right ahead and start him this week, even though they're playing against a tough Seattle defense. Is going to focus on him, but I think that because he's going to catch so much attention, and he is the top weapon offensively, that's who they're probably going to have to go to in this matchup. I think he's going to get a lot of touches in this game, which means if he gets a lot of touches, that means more opportunities to get yardage and possibly get a touchdown or two in this game. Go right ahead and start on Matt Forte. That is a little bit of a concern right there, but I think you should go right ahead and start him because I think he's going to get a lot of touches. Next up, Le'Veon Bell of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is back. He's very versatile. He has great lateral agility, and I think he's definitely a must start this week to over D'Angelo Williams, who was a great replacement, by the way, for Le'Veon Bell, but he's not as he doesn't have great receiving skills as Le'Veon Bell has and good lateral movement compared to Le'Veon Bell, but he was a great replacement for the past couple of weeks, and people do ask me, I have heard some questions, not really towards me, about D'Angelo Williams starting him this week as a flex player. I think you should bench him this week because I think the focus is going to be towards Le'Veon Bell this week at the running back position. So a good player that you might want to think about using is David Johnson of the Arizona Cardinals, playing against my San Francisco 49ers, and with Carson Palmer at helm at quarterback. David Johnson has shown more skill as a receiving running back compared to the other running backs on that depth chart for the Arizona Cardinals. And last week he did score a touchdown offensively. I think he's going to be due for more touches in this game. Look out for this rookie running back. I mentioned him before, and I think you should definitely acquire him in your fantasy play. Headed over to the wide receiver position, Allen Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars against the New England Patriots. I think this is a great matchup. He had a 155-yard, 2 TD touchdown performance last week. Blake Bortles and Allen Robinson has been trying to build up a chemistry between quarterback and wide receiver. DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans. Now, because there still has a little bit of concussion issues, so this is a probable decision if he start this week. And if he does play this week, go right ahead and start him against Tampa Bay. Even though Tampa Bay had a great matchup against the Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints, I still think they're a little bit vulnerable in the secondary, and I think that DeAndre Hopkins is a great fit this week in fantasy play, bouncing back from a little bit of his slouch last week. He was very keyed on last week in that matchup. He did only acquired 5 points points in that game. Lastly, AJ Green of the Cincinnati Bengals. He's off to a little bit of a shaky start, but this week he's playing against the Baltimore Ravens, and they do have a good Ravens defense. But AJ Green, I remember at him actually having a couple of good games against Baltimore, a good NFC AFC North rival in this matchup. This is going to be a great game for you guys to watch. I think AJ Green is going to have a good matchup in this game, at least 17 points this week. That's my prediction against the Baltimore Ravens. Headed over to the tight end position, two players in particular I think is going to have a good start off this week. Tyler Eifert against the Baltimore Ravens. Eifert is actually becoming a good pickup at the tight end position. He's getting more looks, and he is that premier tight end. I forgot that Jermaine Gresham is no longer with the team, and Tyler Eifert is going to be a good start at the tight end position. A great target that Andy Dalton trusts and looks in his direction a lot. Lastly, Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, he only posted 5 points last week, but at the tight end position, that's not bad. But this week, he's at Monday night. He's going to be playing against the Green Bay Packers, who is weak in the linebacker position, especially the middle linebackers. They're kind of beaten up a little bit, and I think that Travis Kelce is a player that Alex Smith must look to in this matchup and take advantage of the situation. I think that Travis Kelce is a must start this week at the tight end position. Now, the next time to catch you guys will be on Thursday, where I will talk Thursday night's matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Great rivalry matchup, and I'm going to give you some quick tips for that game in fantasy play. And then the next following Saturday, I'm going to talk about following Sunday morning, I'm going to talk about the remaining players to start for week 4 of this season. Thank you for watching this vlog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.